Hi everyone, welcome to Mompreneur Space live show podcast where I interview inspiring moms from all around the world so that you can learn from them how they overcome their challenges as mompreneurs. I'm your host, Kenneth Chu, and today is 117th episode of Mompreneur Space live show podcast. This podcast started with a very simple thought of sharing inspiring mompreneur story so that mothers out there will be able to resonate and start to make a difference in their lives or their family's life. I've met and come across a lot of amazing mompreneur stories in the past 5 years, which I'm very blessed that I'm able to share their story with you guys. Today's guest is an amazing mompreneur who I've connected with her on LinkedIn for a while, been following her content, liking her content, but only recently we managed to see each other and met each other on in real person, in real life at one of the LinkedIn local Singapore meetup. And we clicked instantly, and I was very surprised when she told me that she is a mom because she looks really, really young. And I really like her story on how she started her entrepreneurial journey. And immediately I invited her on my podcast. And in this episode, we will be talking about how to elevate your life as a mom with Rainy Rainmaker, who is an executive coach and founder of Rainmakers Coaching International. Introducing Rainy, a specialist coach who has undergone the journey of practical mind and emotional mastery and developed a proven system to help individuals overcome their struggles. As a life and executive coach, she is equipped to provide clients with the guidance and support they need to discover their potential and achieve their goals. Rainy's expertise is grounded in both personal experience and professional training. She understands the challenges that arise on the path to success and happiness and is dedicated to help her clients overcome them with a unique blend of coaching, training, and speaking services. Through Rainmakers Coaching International, Rainy is committed to empower individuals to tap into their inner strength and unleash their power. Whether you are looking to improve your personal relationship, navigate life transition, or boost your career, Rainy has the tools and knowledge to help you succeed. Without further ado, let us welcome Rainy. Hi, Rainy. Okay, you hold on. Let me just. Okay, hi, Rainy. Good morning to you.
Thank you so much, Kenneth. Wow, there was so many kind words that you just put it on me. I feel elevated by your words. Thank you.
Yes, yes, especially in the morning, right? Have to elevate each other,
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
also thank you for accepting my invitation to come on to my live show and also my podcast because when like I say in when in the introduction, right? When I knew you, I didn't know that you are married and you have how many kids?
Well, I have one. I am divorced for about 5 years already now.
Mm.
So I'm half single mom, and yeah, one of my role is a single mom, and one of my role is also an entrepreneur, and yeah, I have many roles.
Yeah, in fact, we just know each other, and I think this is a good chance for me and also for the audience, right, to know more about you, about your journey, at the same time of what you do. So before we start, right, my personal question is, why did you, even when I asked you to fill up the guest form, right,
Yeah,
I thought you would put your real name,
yeah,
and you put Rainy Rainmaker.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
before we start, maybe you
yeah.
can share with the audience, why did you brand yourself or call yourself Rainy Rainmaker?
Sure, right. So I get that question a lot. People always ask me, even before I have the Rainmaker, when I say, "Hey, my name is Rainy," everybody will ask me, "Hey, is that your real name?" So when I added the Rainmaker behind, it's even worse. Everybody will ask me, "Is that your real name?" So so I eventually last year, was it last year or 2 years ago, I put on the name on my IC. So now when people ask me, "Is that your real name?" I say, "Yeah."
Oh, serious?
Yeah,
Wow.
and to me a name is very important. A name is an identity, is my identity. So I personally don't resonate with the name that I was given by my parent, by my dad. So all along, it never resonated with me. In my younger days, I think when I was 18 years old, I changed. When I go overseas in Australia, I started to use the name Rainy. Where in my younger day, it's just because I want something that sounds different. I want something that sounds nice and different. So I picked that name. And then over the years, with everything that I went through, and I was searching for my identity for my business, somehow the Rainmaker, this particular name, came across. I came across it, and when I look at it, everything starts to match because to me the meaning is, if you were to Google it on Google, it says that the definition is someone who rain a lot of money, makes a lot of money, close a lot of deals. To me, my additional true meaning is someone who makes things happen. Someone who makes things happen. When there's no rain, you make it rain. When there's no door, you build a door. And you just keep making things happen. So the power is in your hand. So when I realized that meaning, right, it just matches with Rainy. And I took that as who I am. And that was also the reason why I am very aligned and grounded in things that I do, because it's always me being influenced by the identity that I have as a rainmaker. So I just make things happen and create the opportunity when I don't have the opportunity.
Wow, wow, there's so much meaning in that, and you even change it and became your IC name, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
this is where when people ask you, you can tell them that, oh, this is my real name.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't
yeah.
believe it, you show them your IC,
In
right?
fact, they were shocked when I say that. They said, "Huh, really? It's in your IC?" I said, "Yeah." It's so
Yeah,
funny.
when you now share with me, right? I'm also like, oh, okay, seriously,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I think it's like what you mentioned, right? It's like you want a new life, you want something that you can
yes,
resonate with, which is also very important, right?
yes,
Especially in life that we are not that also bring us to today's topic also. So
yeah.
maybe other than the name itself, maybe you can do a short introduction of yourself. Share
Okay.
with us where were you from originally, and also currently what are you doing now?
Okay, so my background originally, I was from Indonesia, and I've been living in Singapore for like the last 20 years already. So Singapore is home to me. I really love Singapore. It gives me a sense of safety and security that I cannot get anywhere in the world. And in the past, I've been working in organizations and just feeling clueless and bored. Despite I feel that I have a comfortable pay, I just didn't know what is the meaning of my life, and what is it that I can truly do that can really make an impact. So that is like, I don't know who I am back then. And now, when I look back, I've been in this doing coaching practice full time for the last coming to 5 years now, and I never felt so aligned in my career. I just came back from a 2 weeks vacation with my son, and coming back, I don't feel that inertia to go back to work or to go back to see my clients. I was like, huh, okay, I'm excited. I miss them. I want to follow up with them. I want to do my work again. There's no inertia of going back to work. It's very different, right? When we are working for other people, next time in Monday, you just feel like you're dragging your feet to work and you don't
Yeah,
want to
Monday
face the
blues, right?
reality. Absolutely, yeah. So this is what I do now, and I'm loving it. I'm loving being able to witness all the transformation that the clients have shown me. It's just inspiring both ways.
Wow, wow, that's good. So, what were you? Which industry were you when you were in corporate? Maybe you can
Mostly,
share a bit.
mostly in education. So my previous job was in communication. So we were in the student matters. So dealing with the students, helping them with their housing matters as well. So communication, publicity, and then my last job was actually in sales. So we were promoting programs, personal development programs, business programs, marketing programs, and one of my favorite program that I love to promote was Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within program.
Okay,
Yeah,
it
that
sounds
was my
very
last job.
familiar.
That was my last job. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tony Robbins.
No, like were you with SR?
Yes, I was
Ah,
with
okay.
Success Resources back then, and every time when I called our existing students, our existing clients, they always felt like, "Are you a coach?" Because the call that I made is different. I don't tell them, "Hey, we have this program, you gotta buy, blah blah blah." I don't do sales call. What I do is I talk to them and I ask them, "What is it that you want? What is your challenge now? What is your goal?" And they just feel so connected because of that.
Is that also the reason how you got into this space? Because in SR, success resources, right, there's a lot of personal development, there's a lot of growth, there's a lot of knowledge being there, and definitely there's a lot of mentor and coaches out there that you have seen and all that. Is that the reason why how you got you into this space, or there's other reason that got you into this space?
This is a this no, it was this wasn't really the reason. This contributed a small part of it, because when I came into that particular job, it was, I said, I met one of my direct boss. I saw how he was doing one-on-one sales, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're so good at one-on-one. I want to learn how you do this. I want to learn how to do sales, because in my mindset all along, because my dad is a businessman. So growing up, I never see climbing corporate ladder as my future. So in at the back of my mind, I'm always looking for what is it, the business that I can pursue, that can belong to me, that will allow me to have that freedom to be able to live life on my own terms. So when I saw this particular guy doing such a great job in sales, I thought I want to learn that, so that whatever business that I choose to do, I can do the sales. And yeah, that was the reason why I can sustain my business, because I have the sales skills as well. A lot of coaches that I met, the aspiring new coaches, they want to coach. They have a very good intention to help people and make an impact. The problem is that many of them doesn't, it's not trained in sales. So running your own business and working for people is a totally different game altogether. A lot of skill set that we need to develop.
Yes, yeah, you're absolutely right. Because like for my case, right, I work with a lot of mompreneurs, and a lot of them are also in coaching, right?
Yeah.
They went to get certificate, they be certified as coach.
Yeah.
But like what you mentioned, right, a lot of them struggle
Yes.
because they are not trained in sales. They feel that they are salesy. They feel that they are the typical snake oil salesman.
Yeah.
They don't want to push.
Yeah.
They don't feel worthy and all that
Yeah.
stuff, because that is all the mindset stuff, right?
That's right.
And
That's
in
right.
terms of sales, and they don't ask. For
Yeah.
example, and because I run events, I invite mompreneurs to be speakers. A lot of them have fantastic products and services, but they don't ask, they don't close,
That's
they
right.
don't even sell themselves, right? And a lot of time, even for branding, personal branding, they say, oh, Kenneth, why am I not getting sales? Why am I not getting leads? I say, you are not putting yourself out there. Oh, I'm very shy. I don't know how to talk. I don't know how this. Then if you don't know how to talk, you don't know how to present yourself, then how are you going to market yourself?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if let's say you are a coach, right? People need to trust you to share their vulnerability. They need to share their inside story to with you, right? They need to show all the what do you call it, the hidden secret, right? The truth
Yeah.
about them, right? So
Yeah.
if you don't put yourself as someone that they can trust, you are
Yeah.
not out there, how would you get business? And this is something like you mentioned, right? Because it's very important that you have that skill. Like for me, I have that skill, but in business, like you mentioned, there's other aspect. Like for
Yeah.
me, I was in advertising sales for the past 14 years, advertising, media, sales, and marketing.
Wow.
But the thing, when I started my entrepreneurship journey, I realized that being able to close sales is not the end. I need to market myself. I need to hire people. I need to come up with my business process. I need to do my finances, which I'm very bad at it. So
Me
like what you
too.
mentioned, yeah. So in the end, we need to learn about it. And where do we learn, right? So like you touched on a very important thing is about sales, and that also bring me to the topic of this episode, right? Because when you talk about you wanting more, you seeing what you want,
Yeah.
and it's also linked back to our topic, which is how to elevate your life as a mom. Because I saw in your LinkedIn profile that you brand yourself as someone who helps to elevate your career and life without anxiety, fear, or stress. So
Yeah.
maybe you can share more about like why do you have this statement, or what we call your elevator pitch.
Yeah. Yeah. So how I came up with this is also after so many trials and errors, and then understanding my clients' pain points as well, that eventually gave me this statement, because I found that these are the common challenges that many of my clients have, whether it's got to do with their work challenge, right? Or whether it's got to do with home or personal relationship or even relationship with themselves, it boils down to all these internal issues, whether it's anxiety, fear, or stress. So on the surface level, it may look like a lot of different stuff altogether. However, as we are digging, right, we go deeper and deeper and deeper. We found out that it's got to do with some of this stuff that is very common with everyone. And whether or not they are very senior leaders, director level, VP, or they are just, let's say, at the middle managers level, when you go down, it's the same stuff. That fear of I'm not lovable, that fear that I'm not worthy enough, that fear of I don't deserve where I am today, that lack of confidence and that lack of self-worth is what's limiting them to be able to elevate their life and their career. So to me, working on our internal stuff is so important before we go and pay for, let's say, public speaking courses, or maybe how to make money passively, etc. Because all these are systems, all these are the mechanics. And like one of my gurus, Tony Robbins, says, the mechanics are 20%, and then the 80% is the mindset. So if we settle the mindset, the 80%, then we will be able to do the mechanic very well and very effectively, isn't it? So that's my thought.
Wow, that is nice, because when you say about all the challenges that your clients are facing, right? Basically, it resonated with me because this is what I'm hearing from the mothers who are wanting to start
Absolutely.
business,
Yeah.
right? Because when you want to step out from your comfort zone, you want to do something different, or even running a business, right? Like anxiety will definitely be there. Fear will also be there because you don't know when is your next paycheck, right? Because you are not working for people.
Yeah.
Is whatever effort you put out there, there's fear of not having income coming in,
Yeah.
and especially for you as a single mom, right? It's even more, uh, there's even more fear, right?
Yeah.
Because you are the only one, sole breadwinner, to support and all that, and anxiety
No,
definitely be there.
no, not really. On that part, actually, I'm blessed enough that
Mm,
we have an agreement. So my ex actually also helping to take care of my
uh,
son's expenses.
which
So
is good.
I'm kind of blessed enough on that area. So
Co-parenting,
thank
right?
God. Yeah, yeah, we have that co-parenting going on. Thank you.
Yeah, I think this is also important for mothers out there, to
Yeah,
be aware about, because I have friends, I also know of mompreneurs who are single mom, but they don't have
yeah,
that support, right?
yeah.
And this will add on even more stress, right?
That
Especially
will be
when,
very tough. That will be very tough. Yeah,
correct. So this is also because when you share all that, I was like, okay, this sounds very familiar with all the
yeah,
moms that I've coached and all that, and I realized that that a lot of times that you mentioned, like Tony Robbins spot on nail it. He talked about 80% mindset.
yeah,
Because even for my case, right, when I talk to mother, when I mentor them or coach them, a lot of time it's never about the business. It's
not
never about
about
the
that.
business. It's
Not
always
yet.
about,
Not yet.
not
Not
yet,
yet.
yeah. Because if you don't have clarity of what you want, or
Yeah,
what you want to do, and what you want the business to do for you,
yeah,
you can never move on to the next step, because they
yeah,
are always coming to me for marketing stuff, and in the end
yeah,
I realized that the same thing,
yeah,
right? It's never about their career, it's never about their life, it's
yeah.
about what they want, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Where they should be coming to you is by right is the second step, because you are actually my assumption. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm guessing that you are providing the mechanic, the system for how to market yourself well, how to brand yourself well, how to position yourself out there. So all these are the system that we need. However, if internally we ourselves is not clear of what we are offering, who we are helping, and why, and all those stuff, then you will have a problem helping them.
Yes, yes, definitely. Because like what you mentioned, right? Okay, because for my case, I accidentally stepped into entrepreneurship because I got laid off by my previous media marketing company, and my client said, "Kenneth, why not you start your own company?" So I just jumped in accidentally, and I thought I was just a service provider, but because most of my clients, they are mothers, they are entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, they started a business, and I see a lot of challenges they are struggling. And like you mentioned, right? Like how do you come up with your elevator pitch or your statement, right? Like elevate your career and life without anxiety, fear, and stress. So for me, after I've serviced them in a lot of marketing, I realized that it's not about the marketing, because it's all go back to what they really want. A lot of them are struggling to to even accept the fact that this business model is not suitable for them as a mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when I go deeper, like you mentioned, right, as a coach, you go deeper, you ask them questions to find out the core reason why. And you realize that the core reason has nothing to do with the business at all.
Mm.
And the reason why they run into business, like for example, I have one very interesting story that I always share is that there's this mom that she started this business, and every weekend she has road shows.
Okay.
And when I go into details, like she's not profiting, she's not making money, but she's still wanting to do the business. And I realized the core reason why she want to run the business because every weekend she get time with her husband to
Ah.
spend time because the husband will drive her around to for road show, and the husband will be there doing all the handy stuff. Sometimes even help her with the store, with the road shows and all that. And that is the only time that she get time to spend with the husband. Because in the past, before when she was working for people, right, she hardly had time because her husband was so busy with the business, with his work and all that. She don't hardly have time because for her she don't have time. And when she started a business, she realized, hey, I can have some couple time with my husband, although they are building this business together. So she's find a sense of belonging. And because when I dig deeper, then I realized that she unconsciously revealed that she although she's not making money, but she's happy about it. I said, why you're happy about it?
Ah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of reason in a lot of
Yeah.
a business. Maybe they
Yeah.
are not profiting, but they are
Yeah.
enjoying
Yeah. Yeah.
the process.
Yeah.
So and the reason that one would need to elevate their career or life.
Mm. This is a very good questions. I noticed that usually people who come to me for coaching and people who decide to hire a coach to elevate their life or their career is when they feel really stuck in life, when they start to crave something more. They seems to have come to a point whereby they are very dissatisfied with their life or with what they have or with their work, and they seems to have hit that tolerance level that says that I'm sick and tired of all these things. I want to change. I don't know how, but I'm ready to change because I have hit this tolerance level. These are usually those kind of people that I notice that will take action to wanting to get help. Because I also met some people that explore having getting help from me, and after the discussion, then when I check about the motivation level, and then it's about usually 1 to 10, right? This is about 6, 7, and I'm like, okay, uh, is there any way that you would like to go higher? How would you like to increase your motivation level? And they said, no, currently it's about there 6, 7, and I told them straight. I said, okay, well, I guess maybe you're not very ready for a change now, right? Because it's 7, based on what I check with them, is usually not that committed, and that will change the result as well. So for me, what's important is that it's okay that you don't know how to change, because that's my job. However, what's important is you want it badly, that you really want it. So these are the kind of people that will take actions. People who feel dissatisfied with their life, they feel so stuck, they believe that they are meant for something more, something bigger. They have that little voice that is calling out to them to change.
Yeah, I think our path are very similar because even for because when I start to do this podcast, a lot of my friends who are mothers who became mothers, they
Yeah.
wanted to start a business,
Yeah.
and they will come to me or through some referral they'll come to me, and like what you say, right, a lot of time they think they want, but they are not hungry enough, they are not desperate enough,
Yeah.
they don't have that strong desire, you don't see that spark in them,
Yeah.
and they say, okay, now I want to start a business. Then I start to dig and start to ask. They say, like, oh, want to do this? I need to do this. So
Yeah.
troublesome.
Yeah.
Then
A
what
lot
do
of
you
work.
think? Yeah, then they will say, oh, a lot of work, eh. Then I don't have time. I say, you don't have time. Then they'll tell me you don't want to live on your husband paycheck.
Yeah.
You don't want to feel that you are not useful. You want to be a good role model for your children, but you're not willing to do all these things. Then I think maybe this is like running a business is not for you because
So
it's tougher, right?
so
It may
can I
not be the time.
so can I you point out a very important point here. So remember earlier on you mentioned about support. Having
Yep.
support is important. So it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? On one hand, when you have a husband who can provide you that financial support, you may feel so comfortable that you're not willing to go all the way out to realize, pursue your dream because you have this comfort. Whereby, on the other hand, you may not have the support and therefore you may push yourself to make things happen for yourself because you don't want to settle. So it all depends on how we are using what we have to our advantage. And sometimes, from the conversation that I have also from my other coaches peers, they said the challenge usually when the mom, the wife, the mother have the financial support. The husband is the one that is paying all the bills. So this desire to create their own dream is not that not that
Strong.
not that
Mm.
urgent. It's not
Yeah.
that urgent, and therefore they're not moving so much.
Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right because it's not being okay because I've done this for about 5 to 6 years already, like reaching out to mothers or helping mothers empower mothers to be entrepreneurship. I realized because when I speak, right, when I start to have different mothers from different from for all parts of the world, right, be it Singapore, be it Malaysia, I realized that Singapore mom has that what you mentioned, right? Like their husband are working, are doing well, and they always have this backup plan. Like they always have this support there, the
Yeah,
financial support from the husband because the
yeah,
husband has a
yeah,
stable job or a high paying job,
yeah,
and they have always somewhere to lay back, which is not wrong, right? It's
yeah,
okay, but when you have that, right, you don't have that desire to hustle. You
yeah,
don't have that thing to what do you call that, to push yourself to do more, to achieve more, to even have a better living for yourself or even for your kids. That's why in my this journey, right, I met a lot of single mom who started their business because they have no one to rely on, especially for
mhm,
those who do not have a supportive ex-husband to really help them to
yeah,
co-parent.
yeah.
Everything is all by themselves. Or I have one single mom, but hers is not by choice. Her husband passed away in an accident overseas, and just overnight she has 3 boys, and
Wow,
and it's all up to her. Although she has a supportive family, right, which is a blessing, but at the same time she's alone, and she has always been the one taking the back seat. And then suddenly the accident happened overnight. She's like lost, but she took the battle, and she started her own franchise. She took a franchise, she did it very well. The franchisor took it back, and then she run another similar trade also, and she did it well and managed to support the 3 boys, right?
wow, that's really amazing.
Yeah,
And
so
it all
yeah,
goes down to mindset, right, Kenneth?
correct.
Right. When you're being thrown into a situation, you can choose to stay stuck and then take pity on yourself
Yep.
and just wallow in that victimizing yourself for years, or you can choose another way out whereby you just push yourself using that pain to give you the power to just transform and take responsibility for the people that you love to protect them. It's amazing.
Yeah, and this is also why today when we talk about how to elevate your life as a mom, right? A lot of times I see a lot of moms, whether you are a stay-at-home mom or you're a working mom, right? A lot of times maybe it's maybe being comfortable, right? Or maybe because the mindset like you mentioned, because they are not being pushed to the situation or the scenario that they need to do something. And when it's time for them to do something, it might be a bit too late.
Yeah,
Like it's just a fine line between make it or break it, right?
yeah,
So which a lot of time because of not having a very strong mindset or not being able to know what to do in the midst of all this um, place of loss.
yeah,
Like for that single mom with 3 boys, that overnight she lost her husband. Uh, because she has a support group, which is she's from church.
yeah,
So her families all are believers. They are there to help her because the mindset, right? So nothing will break her because
yeah,
she gets support from her belief, her faith, and all that,
yeah,
and also her group. But there are mothers out there that don't have that support. So what would you
yeah.
suggest to them, how to find that support?
Yeah. So for me, you keep asking about how do we elevate our life, our career as a mom. there's a few key things that I would really recommend people to start doing. First is really we talk about mindset, right? We got to change our mindset because it's our programming, right? Our mental program is what helps us to make choices, to make decisions. And when our mental program is not fast enough, not updated enough, not strong enough, and it doesn't have enough resources, then it'll make choices that doesn't really empower us to be better, to do things faster and easier. So the mindset is very important. So working on the mindset, and second also is really to get help. When everybody is good at a lot of stuff, right? And we are good at something as well. And there are other people who are good at something. When we were in as a kid, we study, right? We have teachers teaching us how to do stuff. However, in our adulthood, we kind of like thought that education is done. We no longer need help. And therefore, we kind of like struggle by ourselves. But that's not true. When we get help, which is in my case, I actually get help. When I first started this business, I came to my coach, which is a 5-figure coach, right? It was scary because it's a very huge investment for me. However, I saw him as my role model. He have what I want to have, the lifestyle, the impact, the contribution, and I said, I want that. Can you teach me? So that was the purpose of me hiring him as my coach back then. However, you know what he said to me? He said, Rainy, before we help you work on your business, establishing your business, we must first work on yourself. And I was like, huh, that
Interesting.
kind of makes sense. So we were working a lot on myself, clearing my shit. Before I hired this coach, previously the coach that you and I know, my mentor and your mentor, Jack Wong, told me this, Rainy, go and clear your shit. Because I told him I wanted to do this coaching practice business. He asked me how much do I want to charge. And I was think, and then with that lack of confidence, I say very shyly, and I say, $50. And he looked at me, and you know how his expression, and he was like,
Yeah.
that dumbfounded look, right?
Jaw dropping
That
mood.
jaw dropping, right? He was looking at me. I was like, and then he replied. He said, Rainy, go and clear your shit.
Hmm.
And I took his advice. And therefore, Coach Jack Wong is a business coach, right? So
Yep.
this other coach is a human developmental coach. He specializes on helping people work on the inner self first. And at the same time, he can be my mentor because he have a thriving business coaching practice. So that kind of like helped me to hit both needs at the same time. And that
Yep.
was how I'm able to start a lot faster and easier. I even went for get trainers to teach me in terms of personal branding. I invested 5 figures as well on sorry 4 figures on personal branding as well, and then on marketing. There's a lot of things, so it does require an investment on ourselves and on getting help to learn from people who has been there, done that, to kind of like help us speed up our trial and error process so that we can earn our success faster and easier as compared to other people who doesn't get help. So mindset, getting help, this is so important.
I think you have touched on something that a lot of I would say a lot of entrepreneur when they start their journey or when you start to run a business, right? They think that they can do everything on their own. Yeah,
Mm,
definitely you can do everything on your own,
yes,
but as human being, and especially if your mindset have not changed, right, you are always anxious. You are always wanting to see result, and you are getting impatient, right? Because as an employee, you always want to do things immediately.
yeah,
But as an entrepreneur, it's not that you want to get things done.
yeah,
It's whether are you up there yet? Are you
yeah,
ready for that challenge? A
yeah,
lot of time you will need to bang walls, get yourself hurt, get yourself burned in certain areas, then you learn. But like you mentioned, right, a coach basically shorten your learning curve and shorten um, your process of
yeah,
failure also at the same time,
yeah,
because the more failure that you go through, right, the more discouraged you'll be, they'll be demotivated and all that stuff. And you
Yeah.
mentioned something that is very true. You have to see as an investment. A lot of times, a lot of mothers, even they say, Kenneth, why should I pay you this amount? Why should I engage you this and that? I say you can don't do, but during this what, like maybe 1 hour discovery session, right? You realize a lot of things that I said, it already cut short. You don't have to bang wall again. You can do it even
Yeah.
faster.
Yeah.
It's whether you want to take action or not, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't see the value, then there's nothing I can say, because like just now before we start, where we talk about this, like why do you choose to help them in this area, right? So and you mentioned your answer, right? You were like, well, what do you say for this, like?
Well, so I found that these are the common issues that is preventing people from being able to elevate themselves, their life, right? So the internal struggles, the internal conflict. I want to be successful, and yet I don't really want to put in the time and effort to be successful because I still want to have my work life balance. I still want to spend quality time with my children, for example. These are like things like internal conflict, right? There's also things about the fear. I don't want to be making mistakes. I'm scared of making mistakes. And I share with you, this is just a very fresh from the oven. One of the coaching conversation that I had. This client that I had is a very smart person, used to be from a consulting industry, consulting businesses. And I asked him, when you are doing your work as a consultant, don't you have to test a lot of ideas to make it work for your clients? And he said, yeah, it is. And then so how come now that you are aspiring to start your own business, how come it seems like you are very resistant to test and then kind of like make mistakes? He said, yeah, because when I was working for people as a consultant, it wasn't my money. It wasn't my money, so it's okay to make mistakes. I get paid even during my testing process, whereby this is my own money. And therefore I feel scared because when I make mistakes, is I'm the one who pay for it. Mindset again. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that is such a great analogy example that you have shared, right? Because a lot of times when people jump into business, right, they don't see from that perspective. They're still seeing it through the lens of an employee,
Yeah.
right? Like being comfortable, Monday blues. They will still have the weekends and all that stuff. And you just now you talk about work-life balance, right? One of my mentor, he's a very successful entrepreneur. He has retired at the age of 56. Then he's now a multi-millionaire, and the business he runs, right, is crazy. You never thought that he can turn it to become a pot of gold. You know those wet market, right?
Uh-huh.
Like the market that our mother would go for marketing and all
Yes.
that.
Yes.
And he was running the ladies female retail store, the store that sells all the auntie clothes, right?
Mm-hmm.
He make his pot of gold there, which is a business that he never thought that it will make it, right?
Wow.
And when you talk about work life balance, right, he can tell you, Kenneth, this is all totally BS, because if you want to be successful, there's no such thing as work life balance. Work life balance is for employees. Work life balance is not for an entrepreneur. Yeah,
I
this
would
is what he said. Yeah,
I, I I agree, and at the same time I would add on the time frame.
yep,
At the beginning of it, when we are just starting out, when we are building the business, there's a lot of work, so you won't have your work life balance. You have to be very focused. Then you, like for my case, it's like I don't get to travel, I don't get to shop, I don't get to hang out with friends because that first year I was just my
just
goal was
going.
just one. It was just put my business out there. So there's a lot of hard work at the first few years. It's true that you won't have a work life balance because you have to be very focused with the limited resources that we have. We have to be very focused in putting it out there. And then once the business start to take off, once it's on the sky already, all we need to do is just to sustain that flight, and then the work life balance can start happening.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that
yeah.
is what people are aiming for. That is the dream. And
Mm-mm.
too often people are looking at the dream without looking at the hard work that has to happen first before you can fly comfortably.
Yeah, and you talk when you talk about this, right? Altitude, right? Is what people always see. Wow, it looks so good on the at the top. Wow, it looks so
Yes,
good on Mount Everest. It looks so good on Mount Fuji. But the path to Mount Fuji to the peak, right, is so tough, right? That most people
absolutely.
give up.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about, like, for you, you were very blessed because not everybody in the first few years will be able to reach somewhere that is on the sky, right? Some people, even 10 years, even how many years, they are
Yeah,
still struggling. Why? Because they have not have a mentor,
yeah,
they have not have a coach, that
yeah,
they go through and always back to zero, back to zero, back to zero.
yeah.
Why did
Circling in your own mind maze,
correct?
because you can't see what you don't know. You have your own perspective. When you have someone else, let's say it's a professional, where you get to brainstorm, talk about your ideas, that's very different. You get to see your blind spot, and that your blind spot could be the one that is preventing you from being able to escalate yourself, escalate your results.
Yeah, and you talk about the blind spot, which is a lot of time I see a lot of entrepreneurs fall into that trap. And the other thing that is stopping them is what we call the ego.
Ah,
Because
yeah,
getting a coach, right, or getting a mentor, right, it takes a lot of courage because you have to face your fear, you have to face that you
yeah,
need someone's help.
yeah.
Asking for help, right, is the hardest for a lot of people.
Especially for Asian, in our Asian
Yes,
culture, you know that, right?
yes,
It's seen as I think there's a general unspoken stigma that is weak. Like,
yes,
why would I need help to kind of like work on my fears, or work on my anxiety? I don't have anxiety. I don't have fear. I
yeah,
don't have internal problems.
yes.
Is that
This is,
true? Right. So that humility first
yeah,
to accept that, okay, recognize that I think I have a problem,
mm.
and I'm gonna explore that. So that takes a lot of.
Yeah, you mentioned about that because for I think Asian and also Asian men, right? Because we are
Ah,
always
for the
told,
men it's even harder.
yeah, it's even harder because, like, since young, my dad has been so, oh, you have to be the one to take care
Yeah,
of everyone.
yeah,
Like there's a Chinese saying, 男人流血不流泪.
yeah.
Right, you
Cannot cry.
cannot cry, you cannot
Yeah,
tear, you cannot show that you're
yeah.
weak. You have to be strong. Even you are bleeding, you just let it bleed. It's like that kind of mentality.
And
But I
that's why
think
there's a
it,
lot of suicidal on men as well, right?
yeah,
Because there's no channel out. You just
yeah,
take it on until you can't take it anymore and you lost it.
yeah. If not, you go crazy. Most of the time, I see, like, you, I do not know,
Yeah,
that they go mentally crazy,
yeah.
or you see a lot of incident out there, right? You see on news, there are people going around taking knives or whatever, right?
Yeah,
So people are getting a bit too stressed. There's no outlet to do that because of all this social expectation,
yeah.
which is also one of the social issue that I see, that a lot of people need help in that, especially for men. A lot of time we see a lot of focus is all on the women,
Yeah, yeah.
and empowering the women. How about the men, right?
Actually, you're so right. The man is actually in this topic, right? The men are the one that is having it tougher because they don't have an avenue to let it out.
Yeah, yeah, and you are absolutely right because how should recently I saw one video, right? It's a social experiment. So it shows that a man, a couple, a man was abusing, like, it means was they were just actors, right?
Yeah.
The man was abusing the lady, was like hitting on the lady, and then the public, right, someone took the guy and slammed him on the floor, right? And then they reversed the scenario, the woman was hitting the man,
Ah,
right, in the public. Then there was the public never do anything. In fact, someone was like kicking the man. One of the guy was kicking the man, and you can see the drastic difference, right? In fact, like you mentioned, men are getting it tougher. Just that why we have that perspective, or that stigma, right? That men are always bullying the women. There are a lot of domestic
yeah.
violence for the other way around,
I
right?
agree. I agree. Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
if not, it's not physically, it's definitely mentally and
yeah,
emotionally.
yeah,
But men just suck it up, right?
yeah.
Which is that's why a lot of mompreneurs told me that, Kenneth, you should go and help all the dads. They are struggling there. But the problem is, that maybe after this mission, right? After empowering the mothers, then I can move on to the
Well, the
gentleman.
resistance level is a lot higher, Kenneth.
Yep.
the willingness and having that courage to get help for men, right, is the resistance is a lot higher than for women.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
therefore, you find it is easier to kind of like attract uh, a woman
Mm-mm-mm.
as compared to attracting men. I mean,
Yeah.
when I talk about all these things about building your confidence, building your self worth, and improving your mental well being, usually the woman is the one that is
Open
the
up.
faster that took that makes the decision faster and take action faster as compared to the men, because the men just keep on tolerating and tolerating.
Yes. Until
It's
one
no
day they
it's,
snap.
yeah, and when they snap, you just snap.
The end.
That's
Yeah.
it, the end.
Yeah, that is something that I think this is what we both of us also see. I think a lot of people are seeing it. Just that there's not much conversation talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think definitely this could be another thing that both of us could work on. And definitely with your expertise should we should be able to. So the other now we are now let's bring the thing back to yourself, right? So how has your coaching journey been for you, and what are the challenges and struggle have you gone through, especially being a mompreneur?
Wow, it was really like a roller coaster, and the first few years was really tough. Like all these things that we talk about, the inner stuff, like the anxiety, the fear, the stress, they are all there together. And having the faith to believe in ourselves, in myself, and to believe that this dream is possible, it does takes a lot of reminding myself and an open mind to keep on looking for the resources that can help me to solve my problems and elevate my work and my life. So, which is why I say the mindset has to be very tough, and you must really want it. Your why must be very strong. Earlier on, you asked me why do I even get into this, right? It's because I wanted to help myself. I myself was drowning and I was dying. Uh, and I didn't even know that, but emotionally I was dying and I was giving up on myself. I was looking like an old looking haggard auntie when I was in my early 30s. I was dressing like a domestic. Okay, I'm not sure whether that's the right word. I was very auntie looking.
Yeah, very
T-shirt,
haggard.
very haggard. My hair is like
uh,
messy, that kind. That was when I didn't realize that I have already given up on myself, because I was in my depression as well. My relationship was kind of like killing me softly inside me. I was invisible, although I live with my ex, and I was treated like I'm just a nobody. For many years, that happens, and it took a toll on my confidence level, on my self worth, and therefore I was drowning in my depression. And back then I wasn't that smart. I didn't know who can help me or what can I do to get out of it. However, there was one day, it kind of like hit a point. So I suffered for about 4 or 5 years on my own, alone. Nobody knows. It was a functional depression. I still go to work. It's just that after that I just shut down. I don't look for people. It's just me and myself, and then functionally doing the work that I feel detached about. And then one fine day, I just realized that no, I'm sick and tired of myself. I look at myself in the mirror, and I didn't recognize the woman in the mirror. And I said, "Who is this woman? She's no longer beautiful. She looks old," and I didn't like it. And that was the beginning of me wanting to change. And I told myself, I am sick and tired of what I have. I want to change. I don't know how, but I'm willing to change. And that was the beginning of me going out there, learning from courses to help me change my mindset. And at the same time, I actually invested on how to lose weight, how to make myself beautiful. I did inside out, because I want confidence. I want to get back that confidence and that self-worth. If the man at home doesn't look at me, at least when I work on myself, I go out there, other people look at me. That kind of like build help to fill up that sense of confidence, that feeling
mm,
that you're attractive again. And all these things, they just came together, right, when we work on ourselves. And when I change, I no longer care whether or not someone else care about me or love me. It's just what's important is I care about myself. And then after that, so I was doing coaching, because it was on the sideline. I started as doing it for free, voluntarily helping out people. And then after that, I start doing it and as a part time. But I never thought of it about building my own full-time coaching practice until I got my divorce. And that was when I feel that I got hit one more time, where I felt that I lost everything. So I needed a new meaning for my life. I needed something that can pull me to look forward to life again. And after a lot of circling around, looking inside me, I realized that the answer is this coaching stuff, because I want to use what I have learned and what I have experienced to help people to discover what they didn't know about themselves, so that they can stop sabotaging themselves and therefore sabotaging their results. It's exactly what I did. I make a lot of mistakes and I own it, and therefore I can choose to create a different future for myself. And looking back now, I have to be thankful for that setback that I had, because otherwise I won't be having a life that I love now, 10 times better, 10 times happier, and I have my freedom. So it was all the setback that got me here. And therefore, this is the same reason that I'm doing for my clients as well. Like I told them, you deserve something better. And whatever the limitation that you're seeing right now, that you're experiencing right now, we can let it go, we can resolve them, we can let it go, so that you can fly lighter without all those emotional baggage. And then you can fly so that you can live life on your own terms. This is my dream, and this is the dream that my clients have as well.
Yeah, I like what you have shared, because when you shared, right, I can see that joy, that abundance, that purpose, right, that you have, right, that is motivating you.
Yeah,
And at the same time, because of all these stories, all these setbacks, all this experience, past experience, help you to be a better coach.
yeah.
Because
And a better mom, definitely.
yep, of course.
Better mom,
And
because
you are better role model also, right?
I was struggling with my relationship with my son as well, because of we don't have a healthy relationship at home, right? So
Mm,
the child sees that, right? So
yep,
we are actually giving a lot of trauma to the kid as well. And then the divorce also took a toll on him as well. There's a lot of resentment, a lot of anger.
yep.
And as a young boy, he doesn't know how to express that. So I was in my own life, I was also having my own struggle, despite me doing my life coaching for others. So I was also learning to be a better mom, which is why when recently I told you I just came back from our very first bonding trip together.
Yes.
To me, that was like a miracle, because there was so many time a few years back. The latest one was like 2 years ago, where I felt like giving up, where I felt like it seems like this child of mine is gone, like I don't have him anymore. Like, so there's a few times that I just feel letting it go, because it was so much pain, so much hurt that I received. Thank God I had that, I'm given that love to continue to persist. And therefore we are where we are right now, that our relationship is healed, we are both healed, and we are happier now. So there's a lot of there's a lot of benefits in working on ourselves, because it makes us a better individual, better mother, better wife, and a better entrepreneur as well, if we are an entrepreneur.
Yes, yeah. I really like your part, because now you have a story, right, to tell a lot more people. That is also the reason why, when I first met you, when I know your mom, when I heard a bit about your story, I know there's something that you had, that you can share with even more mothers out there. That's why I invited you onto my podcast to really hear that part of the story. So definitely, would like to hear more. Would like to even dig deeper, but I would say is a lot of things that you have shared, and especially at the last part where you share about your whole journey, almost want to give up. And this is also something that I want to tell all the mothers out there. Entrepreneurship is a journey, it's not a sprint, right? It's always constantly, and it's a marathon. So
Absolutely.
there's you always face setbacks and things. As long as you keep on going, you keep on believing, like what Rainy has done. She keep on believing that she deserves more. Every one of us, we deserve more, especially the mothers out there. And she shared her part of being the old haggard mother, wife, that even she herself won't look at herself, right? And this is something that I've seen a lot of my female friends, or a lot of mothers out there. They are facing what you have faced before. And definitely hearing your story, I think it might be a wake-up call for them. But my last question for you will be, what was that wake up call that you decided enough is enough? This is something that I'm very interested and I want to dive in before we wrap up.
Sure. I have to thank my brother. So my brother was in Indonesia. He was visiting. After 3 years, he have never seen me. He came to my home, walked into the home, put down the luggage, look at me and say, Rainy, why do you look so old? And he was that serious when he asked that question. And I was dumbfounded. That question. After that question, I quietly went into my room. I looked into the mirror. I sit there and I look at myself. And that was when I realized that who is this woman? I don't know her. Because for many years, I stopped looking at myself. I stopped looking into the mirror and I stopped seeing myself as who I am because I was in denial, right? So that simple question from my brother, I know that he meant it because all along he is always that someone who gave me true feedback because he cares, he loves me. So when that come to him from him, it was a wake up call to make me stop and really look into the mirror, look at myself. So that was the wake up call actually.
Yeah, I was thinking about it like who was or what was your wake up call?
Yeah,
Yeah, which is your brother, and I think God has his own sense of humor, right?
yeah,
From someone who's like your sibling who have been like maybe you guys are, I do not know, like squabbling or like
yeah,
quarreling since young, but
yeah,
the person that's most keen to you, right, wake you up.
yeah.
Like for my case, who woke me up from my depression was my daughter. Yeah.
Oh, so sweet.
So she came to me and said, Papa, how come you stop talking to me?
Oh, that's
Yeah, and
good.
I was like in depression for 6 months. I didn't even know, and
Right.
was very blessed, right? Was very blessed to have her to
Yes.
really wake me up. And that same thing, like I was questioning myself, what have I done to myself to deserve this? And that's where the reflection comes. So I think at the end, right, I think everyone needs a wake up call.
Yeah.
And for those who are listening, who are tuning in, if you have someone in your life that is experiencing some stuff, right? Be there for them. You
Yeah.
might be their wake up call because all they need is that wake up call
Yeah.
to live their life with more purpose, to really look back at themselves, right? And keep telling them that they deserve more. Because like for my case, right, I in my course of work, I face a lot of mothers who don't believe in them. And that's where I'm there to believe because I've seen worse and the worst have become it now having so much abundance, so much love and all that, and
Yeah.
they're loving more people. Like for your case, if not for that wake up call, you won't be empowering more of your
Yeah.
clients who are stuck and
Yeah.
getting them stuck, unstuck, and also getting them through all the challenges like the anxiety, the stress, even depression, right?
Yeah.
So this is very important and how to elevate because for mothers, in today's modern moms, right, you guys are getting a lot of more stress, there's more responsibility, there's more duties, and all these have been cast on you. But the key thing is to find it out for you. And I always believe things happen for a reason. Like for Rainy case, things happen for a reason. She's loving it now. She's enjoying it. She's having the best of both worlds. Yeah. So thanks a lot, Rainy, for sharing. So before we end, right, what would be your last advice that you will give to mothers who wanted to start their business, or they want to balance both motherhood and business?
Well, you give me an idea as you were sharing. You mentioned about believing in oneself. You know, what helps is that there are a lot of times when we first started, we have a dream and we want to pursue our dream. The challenge is always about believing in ourselves, right? So what happens if when you have someone who believe in you even before you believe in yourself, that will make a hell lot of difference. So I believe for your case, even for my case, and for many people who are living their dreams out there, they will tell you the same thing. At some point of time when they just started, there was someone, there were people who choose to believe in them, who gave them that opportunity to be able to do what they do. And my suggestion is go and find that someone, whether it's a mentor, whether it's a coach, whether it's a friend who believe in you. Go and find that someone that will be the help that will help you to make your first step easier because you have people who believe in you.
Wow, well,
Yeah,
that is so good because this is very important. I believe that a lot of time, people do come to you. Oh, I believe in you, but I think at that point of time, just accept it and be curious. Why do they believe in you? There must be something that you have,
yeah,
and you that they see in you that you can unleash, right? So believe in them and take that, like you mentioned, that's the first step, right? Embrace that belief that people believe in you, they have faith in you, and then take it and it will turn out to be something even more wonderful. So
yeah.
once again, thanks, Rainy. How can the audience get connected with you?
Oh, my LinkedIn or just email me on my website.
Yeah, so you guys can reach out to Rainy on her LinkedIn, Rainy Rainmakers, very, very easy. And also her website, growwithrainy.com. So you guys can see from the ticker below that's scrolling. If not, you can go to the description and get connected with her.
Yeah.
All right.
So allow me to thank you. Thank you for having me today. Kenneth, I have seen your work. I have seen you helping a lot of mompreneurs putting themselves out there, being visible with your events that you're hosting. So you're really doing a good job. And it's been an honor for me to be able to sit here and to share with you and also hear about your story as well. So thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, Rainy. Rainy. Thank you very much. And for those who are listening and tuning in, thank you guys for watching this episode with Rainy Rainmaker,
Thank you,
where we
Anne
talk about.
and Angie as well.
Yeah, thanks Angie, and also I saw Ann Ong also, and Ann Ong for tuning in. So thanks a lot, Rainy, for this session. I really enjoyed this and got to know you even more. I didn't know a lot of things beforehand, but I'm glad that we have this conversation. Be able to share and inspire more mothers to take their first step into entrepreneurship or even build a better life for themselves and elevate their life, so that they can be amazing mom, amazing daughter, even in future, amazing wife, right? So once again, thanks everyone for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys.
Thank
Thank you, Rainy.
you. Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.